Jaya Shree Ramachandra, Jaya Shree Krishna, Jaya Shree Lakshmi Narasimha. So today I would like to speak about the 7 causes and cures of depression and how we can root this problem out and you can help yourself and your near and dear ones. Basically, in today's video, we'll be covering a lot of aspects, including from Ayurveda, from modern science, as well as from the astrological perspective. I have reviewed a lot of cases in depression and have spoken with many depressed people, so I would like to present my humble findings in this topic before you all. This is a very concerning topic as over 264 million people are presently suffering from depression and over 700 million people are suffering from other mental health disorders. Most people rush to pills the moment they get any depressive disorder or any mental health disorder, but little do they realize that this just translates into money for the corporates and into suffering for the poor public. So now let's go into the top reasons for depression. What depression is and what is the major reason for it. The number one reason, as we know, is karma. Our own actions, our own past deeds, they come back to us. If we do something negative to someone, we better get the effect of it. If we do something positive, we also get the effect of it. Someday or the other, we have to experience the effects of our own deeds. We can't just run away. Just like the state has a law, even the universe has a law. Number two, the very important reason is depressive events. This is very common as many people go through a lot of depressive events in life, and every one of us can go into a depressive event. But the only thing is that it is the way we react to it, and that is what affects us. And this is also a very complex topic, but there are ways to come out of it. Number three is the most important reason, which is plaguing the world entirely. 2/3 of global population are in urban areas, and this is highly concerning as living in claustrophobic urban areas has been shown in modern science to cause depression and anxiety, even other mental health disorders. Number three, we move on to the next reason, it's neurological disorders. A lot of people face neurological disorders. Of course, this is because of karma. This can either be prenatal neurological disorder, that is a genetic, or a prenatal neurological disorder, or it can also be an accidental neurological disorder. We can identify these things through horoscopes, but now let's stick to the just the gross science topic now. So neurological disorders can also affect your mental health, but certainly there are ways to come out of it, so you don't need to be depressed anymore. So I'll be mentioning the ways to come out of it also in the subsequent minutes. Number four is also a very important reason. It's bad food habits. As we know, we are what we eat. So if we are on a very bad diet and we are consuming negatively a lot of toxic and junk food, then we are sure to have mental health issues, as we are what we eat and our mental health is shaped by what we eat. This is a very important thing, my dear friends. Next, we move to the next important subject, and that is also a very big reason. This is the type of mentality we have. The type of mentality often is very much crucial for our mental health. So there is a very common type of mentality we have today, which is a main reason for depression. There's a beautiful Sanskrit verse from the Bhagavad Gita I would like to quote here, which Lord Sri Krishna himself said, Vishayendriya samyoga yattadagre mritopamam pariname vishamiva tatsukham rajasam smritam. So when we go artificially hankering after happiness in our surroundings, artificially that too, we cause depression to ourselves, we cause pain to ourselves. We should look for happiness within ourselves and within nature. When we run behind happiness, we become depressed. This is a very simple thing and even can be proven scientifically. So let's start looking for happiness in nature and in ourselves. It's quite difficult, but certainly it's a method to get rid of happiness. It's a way, it's actually a perspective. The second most important reason for depression in certain people is fatalism and pessimism. Pessimism is also a problem. It can be corrected, and I'm going to explain certain methods for it. Atheism is also a leading reason for depression because atheists will not have a place to rely on, even themselves sometimes. When you have God, you don't need to rely on anything else except Him. The environment around you matters, of course. Living in inhumane conditions, there's a sixth reason, and this is also related to the third reason. Living in inhumane conditions, as you can see on the picture, is actually the case for several million people around the world. and large swathes of our population live in such places, and this is also a major reason for depression and anxiety and suicide rates, etc. You might have heard that a large percentage of our population is suffering because of this. Not everyone has access to fresh air, sunlight, etc., and it's a plight. It is a design that is made by purpose by this present system we're living in. So we have to come out of this, try our best. If you're unable to, of course, there are ways for each and every person. The types of people around you are also, they can also affect you if you are weak in your own mind. So if we are weak, the people around us and the things around us can easily affect us. So we have to be strong, of course. Loneliness is the seventh and most important reason for depression as per modern science. So let's see what happens and how we can avoid loneliness. Sometimes it's because of being a single child, and sometimes it's because of technology, because today's technology is causing so much trouble, and I'm going to talk about that in the next few minutes. We are disconnected physically, but we are trying to get connected virtually. The UP supporting one child policy in this disconnected world is also a serious problem, I believe, for single children. So of course there is a way out. There is certainly a way out of this entire mire. So let me look at the solutions now for all of you, and let's look at this important point. None of the cures are independent. Whatever I'm going to talk about now, none of them are independent. It is an entire lifestyle, and this is what will bring in change in us. We have to follow the entire lifestyle and not bits and parts of this. The first thing, of course, is to believe that there is God, to feel God in your surrounding. It might sound difficult, but it's actually very easy, as we are all naturally wired to spiritual consciousness. It's not a very difficult thing if we really contemplate that God is there everywhere around us. So we don't need to be scared of anything at that time. We don't need to be depressed also. So this could be one very important step in moving forward with depression. Of course, there are many more solutions that are going to come, and all of them are integrated. Daily prayers are very important. Daily prayers can give you a strong hold within, and several scientific research papers have also confirmed this. The strong mental hold that you get of yourself and the grounded feeling that you get can improve your mental health significantly. Surya Namaskara and Pranayama, very well known methods of yoga, can also help in this. Stop negative karma to avoid reaping its effects. This is solution number 3. So stopping negative karma to avoid reaping its effects is also very important, because karma is cyclic. The more we contribute to it, the more it comes back at us. So we should try to only perform something that's creating a positive change for people around us instead of a negative change. So we are just sowing seeds for our future. Whenever we perform an action, we are sowing seeds for the future. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The major thing that's going to help everyone very quickly is connecting back to nature, spending time with soil, gardening, and grounding. Our ancient sages have always advised us to ground, to remove our footwear, and to stand on the earth, to garden, to spend time in the fields, which is being it's actually being somewhat thwarted away by the modern generation. We're not spending much time in the gardens, but this is actually the most important thing. Instead, we're spending time with these devices, technology, and too much time is being spent with technology, and this is creating depression also. We have to detox from technology, and once I'm done with this video, I'll also go out and do some gardening. So we need to give a break to the digital world for some time. That's a very important thing. Social media dangers are also a serious reason for depression. The comparison that's going on, especially with the bodies of people, especially among the younger generation, is very much worrying. According to psychologists and scientists, this is a serious problem, and it is proven by modern science too. So the more we compare each other with each other, it's actually a pandemic of mental disease. That's what is happening nowadays, because the world is becoming one because of technology. It has a lot of positive effects, but plus a lot of negative effects. So for people who are unable to handle this, it is very much recommended to detox from social media for some time at least. Relax, take a retreat into nature, connect with nature, and disconnect from your mobile phones, your laptops, and your smart devices. This is also very much recommended for those who are depressed. Taking a retreat into a natural place, going to a place where there's only nature around you is also very good. Volunteering to clean up a natural place can change you from a feeling of worthlessness to becoming the most worthy person on planet Earth. So if you volunteer yourself to clean up a natural place, you can suddenly feel so worthwhile. And because some people face this syndrome of feeling worthlessness while being depressed, it's common. But by doing something like volunteering to clean up a natural place, you can certainly make a positive change in yourself and around you also. So try to teach small children or spread the knowledge that you have received. All these things can create a lot of positive effect. They might sound simple and small in the beginning, but they have profound psychological effects for you. So kindly spend some time in helping others also. The next one, of course, is well known to several people, especially in the West. It's mother cow and Gavyamrita, that is consuming the products that come from mother cow, loving cows, and cow hugging, which has become a recent, craze in the Western world. I would say it's a major therapy. Many people are resorting to loving cows, and they believe it has a lot of therapeutic effects, which it does. So feeding cows, loving cows, and even other animals like dogs and cats has shown to reduce depression, anxiety, frustration, and several other mental health disorders. So it's certainly recommended for everyone. Homa is the next in line. It is a very important and powerful way of invoking divine powers to solve the problems we have. It involves burning a lot of beneficial herbs in the fire while chanting wonderful mantras that can help enliven you and improve your mental health. Let's talk about some herbs that can help a lot with depression. The first one that I would like to bring into this subject is the licorice root, which is known as Yashti Madhu, whose botanical name is Glycyrrhiza glabra. It's a very wonderful herb, and it has been proven to cure depression and anxiety. Its powder can be taken mixed with a glass of warm water and taken early in the morning, empty stomach. It can help a lot with depression, and I'll give the scientific evidence in the description box below. It's more powerful than most of those poisonous antidepressants. In the list also are jasmine and Indian saffron. They're also very much beneficial. Next in the line comes good routine. This is very key, very vital to curing depression. If a person doesn't have good routine and responsibilities to manage on a daily basis, simple responsibilities, they're going to get depressed further. So getting up early every day, sleeping early every day is very important. And most importantly, throw those fake cures, those fake poisonous antidepressants that are thrust upon you by those large corporations which cause multiple organ damage and nervous damage. Just throw them into the dustbin, get rid of them, because there's so many things that are much better than them. Who is most susceptible to depression will be the next subject. I will be talking about an important thing, and that is about living better instead of thinking of suicide. Of course, by performing the things that I've already mentioned in the last few minutes, I don't think that anyone will come to the level of thinking of suicide. Again, if at all this thought crops up in your nearer dear one's mind or yourself, you can just think of this small thing. That is, we have not created this life, so we have no right to inflict harm upon our own life or even others' lives. It belongs to the Supreme. It is sacred. It is nothing that is under our control. And actually speaking, life or death isn't in our control, and therefore we cannot take life. Does suicide mean end of our existence? No, suicide does not end existence. In fact, after one commits suicide, they will not be able to move to the next birth. They'll be stuck in a brief period in which they'll not be able to experience anything physically. It is a period of frustration, of sadness, and extreme grief, and it's a very painful experience for people who commit suicide. It should never be done. In fact, it causes deep, deep harm, and it's not the end of existence. It continues for a long, long time, and no one should even contemplate doing this. It's very important. We have to save everyone from such problems, and we should try our best to not allow anyone to even think of such things. Now we'll go to the next thing. Who is most susceptible to depression? I'll just give a bird's eye view of this because this is actually a very big topic, especially when it comes to Vedic astrology. It is actually a very deep subject and needs a lot of research. The moon in Vedic astrology is equal to mental health, because the moon affects us so much, and modern science has not yet reached the level of contemplating what the moon is and exactly how the moon affects the earth and earthlings like us. Rahu and Ketu, the north node and the south node of the moon, these two also influence mental health very particularly. And throughout my astrological research, I have seen this very clearly, that the moon has distinct effects on mental health, especially when combined with other planetary influences like Mars or Saturn, or very yeah, actually when moon is very close to the sun, or when it's very much close to its north node or its south node, etc. There are peculiar mental conditions that come up. Sometimes they're positive, sometimes they're negative, but this is a very vast field of research, and I think I can make a different video on this which will cover this topic more clearly. But for a simple overview, fasting on the full and the new moon days helps a lot with depression. Just consume only fruits and milk during these 2 days, and I think that can help a lot. So thank you. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Narasimha, and hope this video was helpful to all of you. And please perform all the remedies that I mentioned in this video, and I'm sure that it's going to lead you to a more beautiful and mentally satisfactory lifestyle. So it's going to be a very good time if you really understand what is present in this video from beginning to end, and you implement it in your own lifestyle, as well as help and educate others about this so that they can be better also. You can also share your experiences with people around you, so that the whole weight and the burden of depression, the mental burden that people are facing, can be reduced significantly. The main reason why people are committing suicide, or they are going into deeper stages of depression, is because not many people tend to listen to people who are depressed. We tend to just move away from people who are depressed, and we don't spend time with them. This is the major reason why the world is losing countless lives in this area. We all need to spend more quality time, and even the governments need to look into the Ayurvedic side, and also the integrative health side, instead of just looking at antidepressants. The WHO and its website is very much biased towards chemical systems of treatment, and it's completely closed. If you just read a few paragraphs of what the WHO has to say about depression, it is automatically depressing because of the way the WHO treats it. The world is suffering much more. I believe that all the poisonous antidepressants can be avoided completely if we all pay exemplary attention towards this beautiful system of treatment, which is integrative. You combine so many forms of treatment and you bring it as a lifestyle. That's the best thing to do for anyone who's depressed, and I believe this is going to give clear, short results. And the antidepressants, of course, everyone knows, and if someone is watching this video on antidepressants, you'll know it yourself that it's harming you from deep within, and you'll actually feel like getting it out of your life, but the doctors don't allow you to do that sometimes, because they are also unmistakably sometimes under the influence of governmental mandates, or under the influence of sometimes money, sometimes just because they also are of the same opinion. So I think we should try to form our own opinions through scientific research, evidence-based natural therapies, instead of just looking at chemical cures. And they are not cures, they are just temporary concoctions that just allow you to temporarily feel happiness, or soothe your nerves, but it's actually a long-term negative thing for everyone. I would suggest all of you to do your own research also, and I'm going to provide a lot of scientific articles in the description box below for those who would like to research further in this, and also for skeptics who would like to double check whatever I'm mentioning. So thank you. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Narasimha.